I'm very bad. Oh my God. My back comes to school, come on school, صلوا على محمد وآل محمد.
جهت خوشنودی روح مطهر آقا ابا عبدالله الحسین و یاران با وفایش صلوات دوم را بلندتر بفرست. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل أنبئكم بخير من ذلكم للذين اتقوا عند ربهم جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها خالدين فيها وأزواج مطهرة ورضوان من الله والله بصير بالعباد الذين يقولون ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار الصابرين والصادقين والقانتين والمنفقين والمستغفرين بالأسحار شهد الله أنه لا إله إلا هو والملائكة وأولو العلم قائما بالقسط لا إله إلا هو العزيز الحكيم الله أكبر بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا أنزلناه في ليلة القدر القدر خير من ألف شهر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن ربهم من كل أمر سلام هي حتى مطلع الفجر تنزل الملائكة والروح فيها بإذن مطلع الفجر صدق الله العظيم. جهت تأجیل در فرج آقای امام الزمان اجماعاً صلوات.
صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. برای خوشنودی ابوالفضل عباس بلندتر صلوات.
أعظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بأبي عبد الله الحسين وجعلنا وإياكم من الطالبين بثاره مع وليه الإمام المهدي عجل الله فرجه الشريف. اللهم صل على محمد. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Dear brothers and sisters, today we've gathered over here on the eve of the 8th night, and as we know, this is one of those nights that we have attributed towards Bab al-Hawaj al-Fadl al-Abbas ibn Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi afdal salatu wassalam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And we know that each and every one of us has desires, as legitimate desires, whether it be dunyawi, whether it be for our children, whether it be for our elders, whether it be for our friends, our siblings, our brothers, for the Shia, and where we also have this desire for the Zuhur of Hujjah. And we know this is Bab al-Hawaj, this is where the door, where we put forward our desires, and indeed Allah, we make him the wasila in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with this strong belief that indeed our hajat are fulfilled. For the fulfillment of our legitimate desires, including this desire that inshallah Allah hastens the advent of al-Hujjah, let us recite a loud salawat al-Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. In order to start with the silsila of poems, Qasaid, Marsi, I'd like to request our dear brother Asif Raba, to recite in the honor of Abul Fadl. Loud salawat Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Wa Muhammad wa ali Muhammad salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
So I wrote a short poem on Hazrat Abul Fadl al-Abbas. The topic is, after you the children have gone silent. O son of Ali, I testify to your submission to Allah, to your Imam and his mission. You were a God to the wrongfully oppressed and a hope for whose rights were suppressed. If loyalty was to be given a claim, Abbas would be the only deserving name. You, Abul Fadl, the father of virtue to all goodness, you have remained true. Abbas to Zainab was like a shade, Abbas to Hussein is like an aid. After you, Abbas, a loyal friend he lacked. He cried out, your death has broken my back. Abbas now lies on the riverbed. On Imam's lap is his blessed head. O Master, clean the blood of my eye, for I want to see you before I die. O Abbas, after you, Hussein will be slain. After you, Zainab will be in chains. After you, Abid will be in pain. After you, there is nothing left to gain. After you, the children have gone silent, as if their thirst have been quenched. Sakina stands quietly alone, hopes and wishes faded and gone. The flag of Islam has now been torn into pieces, the ummah of Muhammad infested with diseases. Hussein carries your back your flag we have inherited. But your loyalty and faith have we inherited? How many Husseins need an Abbas today? Sheikh Zakzaki, Isa Qasim and many leaders today. Valor, loyalty and submission from us they need. For these are our honor, our living shaheeds. O Abbas, show us the way to lose your arms but never to sway. Like Sakina, Islam awaits at the door, needs insight, nothing less and nothing more. O Abbas, such loyalty you had shown by Imam's side, for Al-Qa'im's brave men you have become a guide. From you we have learnt to stand against high tide, with clear vision, content with whatever the Imam decides. Salawat.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Ahsan, jazakallah khair.
That was our dear brother, and alhamdulillah, as Allah has bestowed this dear brother with this tawfiqat, and as he put forward these beautiful messages and points for us to ponder upon, inshallah we are able to act upon the teachings of the Prophet and his household, and then we are able to take lessons, inshallah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And now I'd like to request my dear brother Muhammad al-Lawati, Allah salawat Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. Together. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله. السلام عليك يا عبد الله. One last time. السلام عليك يا عبد الله. سيدي ليتنا كنا معك، سيدي لافتدينا مصرعك، سيدي ليتنا كنا معك، سيدي لافتدينا مصرعك. يا أبا العلا لو تعود كربلاء، كلنا نموت بالظما فداك يا حسين، كلنا نموت بالظما فداك يا حسين. سيدي ليتنا نستطيع أن نعود بالزمان، ليتنا نلتقي بالذي مضى ونبلغ الأمان والمنى. فرصة نستعيرها ونثبت التفاني، كربلاء حلمنا يستحق موتنا بها التهاني. سيدي ليتنا عنك عن أخيك نحرس الخيامة، خذ بنا للخبا نحرس النساء نكفل اليتامى. لو على موتنا ندفع الجراح نمنع الضرام نبتلى دونهم نجرع الهموم نشرب الهوام سيدي كم تحملنا النار هل لنا موعد في نينوى سيدي كم تحملنا النوى هل لنا موعد في نينوى شدنا لك الحنين يا مدامع السنين كلنا نموت بالظما فداك يا حسين كلنا نموت بالظما فداك يا حسين سيدي ليتنا نلبس القيود نسكن الحبال بالأسى قربة للمعذبين نمتطي الجمال مشينا للسبا نلثم الرؤوس نلحظ العيالا شتمنا ضربنا صورة بها نتوج الوصال ليتنا دونكم نقطع الشجاع على الجراح نصلب لا ولا طفلكم من عذابه ومن ظماه ينحب لا ولا خدركم يستباح في مجالس ويسلب لا ولا بعدكم باليدين تبتغي الستار زينب سيدي حز في القلب الصبا قل لنا كيف ننسى زينبا سيدي حز في القلب الصبا قل لنا كيف ننسى زينبا يا لقلبها الصبور وهي تحضن القبور كلنا نموت بالظما فداك يا حسين كلنا نموت بالظما فداك يا حسين صلى على محمد وآل محمد
Muhammad Ali Muhammad Ahsant. That was our dear brother Muhammad al-Lawati. And now in order to recite a few better verses in Farsi, I'd like to request brother Sayyid Kareem. Allah salawat Muhammad wa Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
به یاد بود 70 تن شهدای کربلا بالاخص سرور سالار شهیدان کربلا حضرت ابا عبدالله الحسین صلوات بلندتر باز این چه شورش است که در خلق عالم است باز این چه نوها و چه عزا و چه ماتم است باز این چه رست خیز عظیم است که زمین به نفخ و صور خواسته تا عرش اعظم است این صبح تیره باز دمید است از کجا کار جهان و وضع جهان جمله در هم است گویا طلوع می کند از مغرب آفتاب، کاشوب در تمامی ذرات عالم است. گر خوانمش قیامت دنیا بعید نیست، این رستخیز عام که نامش محرم است. در بارگاه قدس که جای ملال نیست، سرهای قدسیان همه بر زانوی غم است. جن و ملک بر آدمیان نوحه می کند، گویا عزای اشرف اولاد آدم است. خورشید آسمان و زمین نور مشرقین، پرورده کنار رسول خدا حسین. کشتی شکست خورده طوفان کربلا، در خاک و خون تپیده میدان کربلا. در چشم روزگار بر او فاش میگریست، خون میگذشت از سر ایوان کربلا. نگرفت دست دهر گلابی بغیر عشق، زانگل که شد شگفته و بستان کربلا. از آب هم مضایقه کردند کوفیان، خوش داشتند حرمت مهمان کربلا. بودند دی و دهر همه سیراب میمکید، خاتم ز قحط آب سلیمان کربلا. سنتشتگان هنوز به ایوب میرسد، فریاد علتش ز بیابان کربلا. از دمی که لشکر اعدا نکرده شرم، کردند رو به خیمه سلطان کربلا. آنم فلک به آتش غیرت سپند شد، که از خوف خصم در حرم افغان بلند شد. کاش آن زمان سرادق گردون نگون شدی، وین خرگه بلند ستون بی ستون شدی. کاش آن زمان در آمدی از کوه تا به کوه، سیل سیاه که روی زمین نیلگون شدی. کاش آن زمان ز آه جهانسوز اهل بیت، یک شعله برق خرمن گردون دون شدی. کاش آن زمان که این حرکت کرد آسمان، سیماب وار گوی بی سکون شدی. کاش آن زمان که پیکر او شد درون خواب، جان جهانیان هم از تن بیرون شدی. کاش آن زمان کشتی آل عبا شکست، عالم تمام غرقه دریای خون شدی. آن انتقام گر نفتادی به روز حشر، با این عمل معامله دهر چون شدی. آل نبی چه دست تظلم برآورند، ارکان عرش را به تلاطم درآورند. بر خوان غم چه عالمیان را صلا زدند، اول صلا به سلسله انبیا زدند. نوبت به اولیا چه رسید آسمان تدید، زان ضربتی که بر سر شر خدا زدند. آن در که جبرائیل امین بود خادمش، اهل ستم به پهلوی خیر نسا زدند. باز آتش ز اخگر الماس ریزه ها، افروختند و در حسن مجتبی زدند. وانگه سرادقی که ملک محرمش نبود، کندند از مدینه و در کربلا زدند. پس تیشه ستیزه در آن دشت کوفیان، پس نخلها ز گلشن آل عبا زدند. پس ضربتی که از آن جگر مصطفی درید، بر حلق تشنه خلف مرتضی زدند. اهل حرم دریده گریبان گشوده موی، فریاد در در حرم کبریا زدند. روح الامین نهاده به زانو سر از حجاب، تاریک شد ز دیدن آن چشم آفتاب. چون خون ز حلق تشنه او بر زمین رسید، جوش از زمین به ذروه عرش برین رسید. نزدیک شد که خانه ایمان شود خراب، از پس شکست ها که به ارکان دین رسید. نخل بلند او چه خسان بر زمین زدن، طوفان به آسمان ز غبار زمین رسید. باد آن غبار چون به مزار نبی رسان، گرد از مدینه بر فلک هفتمین رسید. یک بار جامه در خم گردون بنین زد، چون این خبر به عیسی گردون نشین رسید. پرشد فلک ز غلاله چون نوبت خروش، از انبیا به حضرت روح الامین رسید. کرد این خیال وهم غلط کار کن غبار، تا دامن جلال جهان آفرین رسید. هست از ملال گرچه بری ذات ذوالجلال، او در دل است و هیچ دلی نیست بی ملال. ترسم جزای قاتل او چون رقم زنم، یک باره بر جریده رحمت قلم زنم. ترسم که از این گناه شفیعان روز حشر دارند شرم که از گناه خلق نمزنند. دست عتاب حق برایت ز آستین چون اهل بیت دست بر اهل ستم زنند. آه از دمی که با کفن خونچکان ز خواب آل علی چه شعله آتش علم زنند. فریاد از آن زمان که جوانان اهل بیت گلگون کفن به عرصه محشر قدم زنند. جمعی که زد به همصفشان شور کربلا در 8 صف زنان صف محشر به هم زنند. از صاحب حرم چه توقع کنند با آن ناکسان که تیغ به صید حرم زنند. بس بر سنان کنند سری را که جبرئیل شوید غبار گیسویش از آب سلسبیل. صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد.
صل علی محمد و آل محمد.
أحسنت. صلوا على محمد وآل محمد. That was our dear elder Sayyid Kareem. And in order to share a few words, I'd like to request the President of the Jamaat, Sarfraz Uncle, Allah salawat Muhammad wa al Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa al Muhammad.
بار دیگر نعره صلوات. اللهم صل علی محمد و آل محمد.
Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. You'll always find me on the podium if there's little minor problems or no, it's not a problem. Sorry. We tallied our budget last night. We are a little below $6,000 collected. Our budget for the whole year was $20,000, and our doors are still open for the brothers to donate generously. And donations like this keeps us going for a whole year for all the programs that we put together. And without that donation, our programs cannot continue. So please, brothers, we all depend on each other here. So just donate generously, and hopefully by end of Muharram we'll have enough collected. Thank you so much.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
عجل فرجهم. Brothers and sisters, just a reminder, as we mentioned earlier as well, that alhamdulillah, I've seen that alhamdulillah, brothers have left this passage over here for people who might join in a bit later. So inshallah, if we can keep that passage open, and for the brothers who later join us later, if I can request all my dear brothers to move a bit more forward. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. So this is just so that we do not have to disturb during the talk, inshallah, as Sheikh Anwar Jaffer gives. A reminder for brothers and sisters that inshallah, Yawm al-Ashura will be on Thursday, September 20th, and the program over here will start at 10:30 with the Amal of Ashura, followed by Salat al-Dhuhrain in Jamaat at 1:15, and then we'll have the Majlis of Asr Ashur, inshallah. In the evening on Sham al-Ghariba, Majlis will be held over here, and we'll start with Salat al-Maghribain at 7:37. Since it's a Thursday night, inshallah, we'll have the opportunity to recite Surah al-Yasin and Dua al-Kumal together, inshallah, in our congregation, and then followed that with that will be the Majlis of Sham al-Ghariba. Without any further delay, I would now like to request our respected scholar Sheikh Anwar Jaffer to address this Majlis Azza. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
سورة الفاتحة. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الغوي الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ومولاي يا رسول الله. صلى الله وسلم عليك يا سيدي ومولاي وابن مولاي يا أبا عبد الله. فاز من اعتصم بحبلكم وأمن من لجأ إلى حسنكم. يا ليتنا كنا معكم فنفوز فوزا عظيما. قال الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وابتغوا إليه وسيلة آمنا به. صدق الله العلي العظيم.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Dear elders, scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Our discussion tonight is a very important discussion, a theological discussion surrounding the concept of tawassul. And it's a discussion you'll find that has brought forward a number of different questions. A number of shubahat, misunderstandings have stemmed from this discussion. A discussion that has triggered amongst the people themselves, whether it be online, in many Islamic forums, or in public. It's a discussion that has been triggered amongst the ulama as well for many centuries. Many books have been written to try and make people understand the importance of tawassul and its position within the religion of Islam, and its validity and its permissibility, whether it's halal, whether it's haram, or whether even if it's mustahab. And the concept of tawassul is very important as well, because when you realize how significant it is within our sharia, or how significant it is within our theological practices, we realize that tonight being the night of Abu Fadl al-Abbas alayhi salam, we understand that he is considered to be someone who has the power to answer one's needs. He is considered to be Bab al-Hawa'ij. Not only him, but his holy mother as well, Ummul Baneen, the mother of the 4 children, salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayha, who gave all her 4 sons in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It wasn't just Abbas who gave his life, but his 3 brothers as well. Imam Hussein didn't just lose 1 brother, he lost 4 brothers in total on the day of the 10th. So you find the significance of tawassul. So allow us to begin the discussion. What is the meaning of tawassul? Tawassul means when I use a particular thing or a medium to reach a goal of mine. If I have an aim, if I have a hajat, a need, if I was to use something that allowed me to reach my goal and my aim, that thing is known as a wasila. It is used as a medium. It allowed me to take me to where I wanted to go. So for example, a car, I want to travel from point A to point B. I use a car to take me from point A to point B. That car is considered to be a wasila. I'm sick. I need medicine. When I take medicine, for example, that medicine is seen to be a wasila. This is the linguistical meaning of the word tawassul. The technical meaning of the word tawassul is when I use something to gain proximity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And it could be anything. It could be zaman, it could be makan as well, time and place. What do I mean by this? There are certain places in the world that are known to be spiritual places. That if I was to recite salah in those particular places, I am connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more so than if I was to recite salah in my home. If I go to the masjid, for example, to recite salat al-jama'ah, I am connected with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more so if I was to recite salah in my own house. Masjid al-Kufa is another example. Masjid al-Nabawi, Masjid al-Haraam, yes, in Najaf, if I was to recite salah, for example. All of these are considered to be spiritual places. And I perform the wasila of these places to seek proximity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. At times, no, zaman can be a wasila. The day of Arafah, the night of Qadr, the day or the night of Ashura, for example, is seen as a night of ibadah. These are different time and different time spaces throughout the year which I can use and utilize to seek proximity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what's interesting is from amongst the different types of wasila we have the Ahl al-Bayt are also considered to be a wasila. And this is where there is misunderstanding within this particular area, or there is certain discussions which people feel heavy in their hearts and they're not willing to accept, unfortunately. You find that the Ahl al-Bayt, according to our madhab, the Imamiyya, the Ahl al-Bayt are considered to be a wasila towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And by extension, not just the Ahl al-Bayt, but by extension the ulama, by extension Abu Fadl al-Abbas is not part of the Imam or the A'immah, yet Allah has given him the power to be a wasila. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. And what's interesting is when you examine our relationship with the Imams, with our Imams, the Ahl al-Bayt alayhim salam, you'll find that our relationship with the Imams is not like the relationship that the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah have with their Imams. May Allah bless them. The relationship of the Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah with their Imams, they have 4 Imams. Malik ibn Anas, for example, Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i, and Ahmad ibn Hanbal. Their fuqaha, their relationship with their Imams is like the relationship between a teacher and a student, between an ustad and his student. The idea being that their Imams are teachers and their followers are their students. This is not our relationship, this is not the way we interact with our Imams. The relationship of the Imami with their Imams is not like that of a student and a teacher. The relationship between the Ahl al-Bayt and their followers is the relationship of tawseet. It's known in the Arabic language as tawseet, meaning we take them as wasila to get us closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That they are considered to be an intermediary between me and Allah, a medium between me and Allah. I take them, I utilize their power to gain proximity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what Allah has given them. This is the authority that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given them. So for example, the idea behind this was, people came forward and began questioning the validity of this. They came and they said that I want to develop a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why do I need the Ahl al-Bayt? Or why do I need an intermediary? Does the Holy Quran not say that Allah is closer to me than my own jugular vein? Why do I need an intermediation, a medium to seek proximity to Allah? If I have a particular hajat, for example, I can raise my hands and say, Ya Allah, iqdi hajati kada wa kada. Why do I need to utilize the Ahl al-Bayt? Right? If you look at, for example, the Holy Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks of Ahl al-Jahiliyyah, the people of Jahiliyyah. What does He say about them? He said the people of Jahiliyyah used to worship idols, but essentially they used to believe in one God, they used to believe in Allah, but they worshipped Allah using these idols, or they gained proximity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala using the worship of these idols. Lat, Manat and Uzza. Rasulullah came and said that these idols are not considered to be wasa'il between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You cannot worship Allah by worshipping these idols. Essentially, isn't this what we do? As we don't worship the Ahl al-Bayt, but we use them as intermediaries to reach us or gain proximity towards Allah. So they said, they came forward, the proponents of tawassul, they came forward and they said that you Shia, you are behaving the way the Ahl al-Jahiliyyah used to behave. They used to worship the idols, they used to utilize the idols to gain proximity to Allah. You are utilizing the power of the Ahl al-Bayt to gain proximity to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What's the difference between the two? The answer that our ulama gave, and they gave plenty of answers, many of them are satisfactory answers. One of the answers they came and they gave, they said, look at how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created this system. Look how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala interacts with His creation. Does Allah interact with His creation directly? Does Allah give hidayah directly? No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created a system where He has sent down prophets. 124,000 prophets. Every prophet had a successor. After Rasulullah, Allah divinely appointed Ali ibn Abi Talib as his successor, and upon him and after him the 12 Imams or the 11 Imams of the Ahl al-Bayt. Allah, when He wants to communicate with His creation, He puts down or He brings down prophets. Allah doesn't directly communicate with His creation. He places a system, he creates a system. If I want to go back and interact with Allah, do I go back directly towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or do I use the same system that Allah has created? That if I want to create a connection with Allah, I use these mediums that He has placed in this world that allows me to take me back to Allah. So there's a formula. Allah communicates with me using a prophet. Do I communicate with Allah by jumping directly to Allah, or do I use this medium to go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So this is what they said. They said it makes logical sense for us to use these mediums, whether they are prophets or whether they are the imams of the Ahlul Bayt. One way or another, this is how we communicate with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another concept that the ulama raised was, they said that there are certain types of wasila, which are considered to be physical and non-physical as well. What are physical wasila? Physical wasila is what Allah has created in the realm of cause and effect. So for example, when I am sick, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told me through my logic and common sense that when I become sick, I should take medicine. I want to become healthy again. I want my health to return. So I use medicine as a wasila to gain my health back. This is what is known as physical wasila. Sometimes no, wasila is not physical. It's ghaibi, it's milki or malakuti. It's non-physical. How, if I am sick, I raise my hands and I say, Ya Allah, I am sick, give me my health back. This dua that I recite is known as a wasila as well, but it's not a physical wasila. It's what? A non-physical wasila. That many a times when we want our hajats to be answered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to utilize both. If I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and say, Ya Allah, increase my health or increase my wealth, for example, I need to be willing to work. That I am in a position where I earn halal. Not just sit in my house and say, Ya Allah, give me wealth, and pray that, a briefcase was to come down from the heavens full of cash. No, both have to be utilized. Physical wasila and non-physical wasila. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. You take the example of sadaqah. Sadaqah is also seen as a wasila. That if I want to increase my lifespan, if I want to increase my wealth, all I have to do is share my wealth to those who need it, and Allah will answer my du'as and my hajats. So you find that this is the meaning of wasila or tawassul. When I use something that allows me to gain proximity towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When I use something to gain proximity to Allah, this act in itself is known as tawassul. Now what's interesting is that you'll find that there is a schism amongst the ulama between different madhabs in sharing different opinions. Some say that the act of tawassul is not permissible. By the way, before we carry on this discussion, there are two terminologies that need to be understood, need to be memorized. The first term is what is known as tawassul. The second is what is known as istighatha. There is a difference between what is known as tawassul and what is known as istighatha. What's tawassul? Tawassul is when I ask Allah to answer my hajats through a medium. So I say to Allah, Allahumma inni as'aluka بحق محمد وآل محمد, or اللهم إني أسألك وأتوجه إليك بنبيك نبي الرحمة. Essentially, I am speaking to Allah. I am saying, Ya Allah, answer my hajat through Rasulullah, for example. This is what is known as tawassul. Istighatha is when I directly ask from the Prophet, Ya Rasulullah, ikdhi hajati kada wa kada. Ya Aba Abdullah, ikdhi hajati kada wa kada. Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, answer my dua, answer my hajat. The discussion is with regards to istighatha, it's not with regards to tawassul. Those who reject the whole concept of tawassul, they don't talk about tawassul. They talk about istighatha. They say that istighatha is where the problem is. As in, who are the Ahlul Bayt? What power do they have that we ask from them directly? Ask Allah through them. So for the rest of this discussion is surrounding istighatha. It's not surrounding tawassul. And you find that this discussion is very important, especially from a historical perspective. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. this discussion is a very important discussion, especially from a historical perspective, because when you look into the history of tawassul and istighatha, you come to the understanding that every single human being, every single Muslim used to believe in it, and not only believe in it, but act upon it. That every single Muslim from the time of the Holy Prophet, even before the time of the Holy Prophet, the Prophets of Allah used to perform istighatha and they used to perform tawassul. Even after him, the Muslims used to act upon tawassul and istighatha until the time of Ibn Taymiyyah. You find, for example, when you look into the fuqaha of the Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah, every one of them endorsed and advocated the act of tawassul. Malik ibn Anas, Imam Malik, they say that one day Al-Mansur, Abu Ja'far al-Mansur came towards him and he said, "Oh Malik, Imam Malik, I'm going towards the ziyarah of Rasulullah in Medina. What should I do? What is the adab of ziyarah? When I want to ask Allah for my hajat, do I face the Qibla or do I face the dhari of Rasulullah?" He replies, he says, face the dhari of the Holy Prophet and do not turn your face away from him. He says, not only don't turn your face away from him, he says the reason is because he is your wasila to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Gain your hajat from or through him. This was Malik ibn Anas. You find, for example, Abu Hanifa. Abu Hanifa, they say, he used to encourage his followers to go towards the grave of the Holy Prophet and to perform his tawassul and to seek the hajats through the qabr of Rasulullah. You find, for example, Imam Shafi'i used to go towards the grave of Abu Hanifa and perform his tawassul. Abu Hanifa used to go towards the grave of Rasulullah. Shafi'i used to go towards his grave and perform tawassul of Abu Hanifa. They say, for example, Ahmad ibn Hanbal, the fourth amongst the fuqaha of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, he writes a letter to one of his students or his colleagues and he says that in the time of drought, in the time of istisqa, when you want to pray to Allah that Allah sends down rain, perform the tawassul of Rasulullah. And of course, everyone from amongst the Hanbalites, they quote him in this. They say that in the time of drought, especially his discussion surrounding droughts, says in the time of droughts, perform the tawassul of the Holy Prophet and Allah will send down rain. So you find that amongst the fuqaha of the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they used to advocate the concept of tawassul and they used to advocate the concept of istighatha as well. You find amongst the mufassirin, amongst the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, the likes of Sahib al-Mafatih al-Ghaib, Fakhruddin al-Razi, he advocates the whole concept of tawassul in certain ayats of the Holy Quran that speak about tawassul. وَابْتَغُوا إِلَيْهِ وَسِيلًا. And the likes of At-Tafadazani, for example, he advocates the whole concept of tawassul. When you refer to the Usuli scholars from amongst the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they advocate the whole concept of tawassul as well. Until one day a man by the name of Ibn Taymiyyah comes along. Ibn Taymiyyah comes in the 8th century. So you have 750, 730 roughly centuries after the Holy Prophet or years after the Holy Prophet, people used to advocate and perform tawassul and istighatha until Ibn Taymiyyah came along 700 years later and he said, I dispute in this. I disbelieve in the concept of tawassul and istighatha. I don't believe in its validity. It's not part of the religion of Islam. And he came and he gave fatwa. In his books, you can read these fatwas mentioned in his books. Surprisingly, he has mixed opinions between his books. In one book, he supports tawassul and istighatha, but in other books, he rejects it completely. In one book, for example, he says, hey, many of the ulama from the Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah, there's an ijma', many of them used to believe in tawassul and istighatha. But I have changed the opinion and say, and I believe that it is not part of the religion of Islam. I believe that it is considered to be shirk. It is considered to be what? A form of polytheism. No, not just a form of polytheism. It is considered to be shirk al-akbar. The highest level of polytheism. That anyone who performs the act of istighatha and tawassul, when he dies, his children will not inherit from him. Or, for example, it is not permissible to perform the ghusl on their body and to bury them, because they are outside the folds of Islam. This is Ibn Taymiyyah's opinion. Surprisingly, 700 years before him, after the death of Rasulullah, people used to perform it. He comes forward, changes the opinion, and alhamdulillah, you have many certain countries who follow his opinion all of a sudden. So you find that Ibn Taymiyyah changes the opinion. He rejects the whole concept of tawassul and istighatha. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. What's interesting is that there were two scholars, one by the name of Shafi'i Sabaki and the other by the name of Ibn Hajar al-Makki al-Haytami or Hatimi. Both of these scholars came forward and verified. They said that when Ibn Taymiyyah came forward and said that tawassul and istighatha is not part of the religion of Islam, he doesn't quote any scholars that came before him. It's very important. Sometimes when I talk about a discussion, or when I bring forth a new fatwa, or when I talk about a new concept, I make sure that there are scholars or other scholars who have spoken of the same concept. I share their opinions. If I have the same opinion, I can say Fulan scholar or Fulan scholar said the same thing, and that brings about weightiness in what I say. Ibn Taymiyyah, when he came and he said that tawassul and istighatha is not part of the religion of Islam, he quotes not a single scholar, which comes to show that he was the first to push forward this idea that it is not part of the religion of Islam. In fact, Ibn Taymiyyah came forward and he disregarded ayats of the Holy Quran that speak about the permissibility of tawassul and istighatha. He disregarded the riwayat that talk about istighatha and tawassul, and he neglects the ijma of the scholars. In fact, Ibn Taymiyyah uses his aql. When you ask Ibn Taymiyyah, oh Ibn Taymiyyah, what makes you disbelieve in the concept of tawassul or reject the concept of tawassul? Every justification, every evidences that he puts forward is an aqli discussion. It's his logic and common sense. The religion of Islam, we have to understand, the religion of Islam is a religion where its principles are based on the aql. There's no doubt in this, especially when it comes to theology. Belief in Allah, for example, belief that there is a Allah, belief that there is only one Allah, belief that Allah is alim and qadir and hakim, all of this stems from the aql. I don't need the Quran to tell me that there is one God. I don't need the Prophet to tell me that there is one God. Yes, I refer to my aql, but there are certain areas within our theology I don't need, aql has no room in deciphering or giving me information surrounding these particular areas. I refer to the riwayat of the Ahl al-Bayt. For example, what happens in the Day of Judgment, what stages there are within the hereafter. My aql doesn't tell me how many stages there are in the hereafter, or what will happen on the Day of Judgment. I refer to the ayat of the Quran. I refer to the riwayat of the Ahl al-Bayt. The concept of raj'a, for example, that the Ahl al-Bayt will come back before the Day of Judgment. My aql doesn't tell me this. The riwayat tell me this. Likewise, the concept of tawassul and istighatha. My aql has no room to try and understand the concepts and the intricate details of tawassul and istighatha. I refer to the riwayat of the Ahl al-Bayt. And the sad thing is that Ibn Taymiyyah, not only does he disregard everything, he uses his common sense to try and give meaning to tawassul and istighatha. And like I said, this discussion is very dear to my heart. The reason being is because you find that within our circles, amongst the Ahl al-Shia, there are some people who've come forward and have disregarded the whole concept of tawassul and istighatha. They come forward and they say that it's not part of the religion of Islam. In fact, it is considered to be shirk. In fact, it is considered to be the highest levels of polytheism, that when someone says Ya Ali, they will run to the front lines and say this is shirk, you should stop saying Ya Ali, knowing that the Holy Prophet used to say Ya Ali many times throughout his life. You find people are ready to change their values, their belief systems and their theological discussions. When you sit down and you speak with them, and I have, you find that many of their evidences are the same evidences that Ibn Taymiyyah has proposed. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate at the highest degree, at the highest level, that all of a sudden now our brothers and sisters are taking the values, are taking the theological values from Ibn Taymiyyah. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Nara Hadari. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala.
And not only do they take the theological values from Ibn Taymiyyah, but there is a sense of arrogance in gaining knowledge. And it's unfortunate to see this, unfortunate. You find that when they ask questions, it's beautiful for us to ask questions. Yes, ask questions, because I learn from your questions. I learn to find and research. When you ask me a question, I don't know the answer, it takes me time to find answers to these questions. I learn from it and you learn from it. Beautiful. Ask questions. The religion of Islam is a religion which promotes people in asking, but have the ability or have the willingness to learn from this answer and to accept the answer when the answer is given to you. Many a times I find people ask questions, but they have this stubbornness in their hearts. They've already made the answers in their mind. They've already made up their minds, and they're not willing to listen to these answers many a times. So coming back to the discussion, when you refer to the evidences brought forth by Ibn Taymiyyah, these logical evidences that he brings forth, he says the reason why I disregard tawassul being part of the religion of Islam is because, number one, he says one cannot ask from another human being. A human being is a human being. His power is limited. His power is weak compared to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Rather than asking from that person, ask from Allah directly. The ayats within the Holy Quran which verify this. You find, for example, the Prophet of Allah used to come towards his people and say, "Ana basharun mithlukum," that I am a person just like you. Or, for example, the Arabs of Arabia, they used to say, وَقَالُوا مَا لِهَذَا الرَّسُولِ يَأْكُلُ الطَّعَامِ وَيَمْشِي فِي الْأَسْوَاقِ. It says, what's so different about this prophet? He walks in the streets the way we walk in the streets and the markets, and he eats food the way we eat food. What's so special about him? Again, explaining what? That the prophet was just a normal human being. Or you find, for example, within Sahifa Sajjadiyya, Imam Zayn al-Abidin alayhi salam mentions a fabulous word. Mentions a very important line. He says, كيف سبحان ربي كيف يسأل محتاج محتاجا. How can someone who is needy ask from another who is also needy? The idea being that I should ask from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's one ayah in the Holy Quran, for example, the Prophet says, إني لا أملك لي نفسي نفعا ولا ضرا. That I do not have the power to benefit, nor do I have the power to harm. I.e., again emphasizing that he is a normal human being, that if I have hajats, I should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala directly. This was his understanding, Ibn Taymiyyah's understanding. The answer that the ulama came forward with, the answer to this particular fikr, this particular train of thought, was that, hold on a second, we need to try and understand this at a more intricate level. We have Allah on one side, we have human beings on the other side. Where do we place the Ahl al-Bayt, or where do we place Rasulullah? Do we place him alongside Allah, or do we place him alongside the human being? The ayah of the Holy Quran, what does it say? Rasulullah says, "Ana basharun mithlukum." But what does the second part of the ayah says? Except that revelation is given to me. I am a human being just like you, except that revelation is given to me, that I am connected with alim al-malakut, I am connected with the world of the unseen. There is a difference between the Ahl al-Bayt and between normal human beings, isn't there? This is crucial in our understanding of this discussion, that the Ahl al-Bayt are not considered to be what? Normal human beings. They are considered to be supernatural human beings. But when we speak about the powers of the Ahl al-Bayt and the authority that they have, it is a mistake for someone to jump to the conclusions and say that you are now placing him on the same level as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're not. This is an assumption made by many, unfortunately. And I don't understand the logical jumps or the logical steps that people make in saying these. So let me give you an example. When the prophets of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came forward and performed miracles, the people thought that their power was unlimited, didn't they? Isa alayhi salam raised the dead. This is a power that Isa alayhi salam had. He gave life to, for example, a bird. He cured the blind. Musa split the seas. Rasulullah split the moon. This is profound powers that the Ahl al-Bayt had, the prophets of Allah had. if I was there witnessing these miracles take place, I would think that the power of these prophets is unlimited. They can do anything they want. This is coming from the perspective of a human being. But when you come from the perspective of Allah, these prophets have been given a tiny fraction of Allah's power. These prophets of Allah have been granted the power from Allah, and Allah has given them that power, a fraction of His power. But we jump to the conclusion saying that no, these prophets are now placed on the same level as Allah. Does it make sense? We have number of riwayats, hundreds upon riwayats, miracles performed by the Ahlul Bayt, the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt. They were not prophets. Yes. If I was to witness these miracles performed by the Imams, I would think that the Imams have unbelievable level of power, infinite level of power. But when you come from Allah's perspective, they have been given a fraction of the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a difference. And the example that I like to give is the example of water, the capacity of water. Say for example this glass of water. How much does this glass of water? What is the volume? 200, 300 milliliters? So this is our power. Then you have a lake, for example. The water that the lake holds, how much water there is in the lake? There's lots of water. Compared to this glass, there's a lot of water. That's the power of the Ahlul Bayt. When I witness the power of the Ahlul Bayt, it's like comparing the glass of water to a lake. Yes, it seems infinite. But when you compare the lake to the oceans and the seas, there's a difference. When you compare the power of the Ahlul Bayt to the power of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's a vast difference. It's like the lake compared to the oceans and the seas. For us, it doesn't make a difference whether I see a lake or an ocean or a sea, because I'm just the water, the glass. But the Ahlul Bayt understand that there is a vast difference between what they have in terms of the power and what Allah has. I'll give you another example, a side discussion, the discussion surrounding Ilm al-Ghaib. They say that the Imams, we believe that the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt have the knowledge of the unseen. And when we come forward and say and believe and explain to others that the Imams have knowledge of the unseen, all of a sudden there's the assumption, oh, this is shirk because you are now placing them on the same level as Allah. So hold on a second, what makes you jump to that conclusion? Allah has given them the knowledge of the unseen. Allah's power and Allah's knowledge compared to the Ahlul Bayt is like the lake compared to the oceans and the seas. As in, what makes you think that all of a sudden we're placing them on the same level as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is the crux of the discussion, that when we come forward and say that the Ahlul Bayt have been given powers by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's not that they are placed on the same level as Allah. It means that Allah has given them that power. Look at what the ayat of the Holy Quran says. The Prophet used to come forward and says, إِنِّي لَا أَمْلِكُ لِي نَفْسِي نَفْعًا وَلَا ضَرًّا, that I do not have the power to benefit nor harm, إِلَّا مَا شَاءَ اللَّهُ, except what Allah has granted us. The Prophet isn't saying that we have no power to benefit or to harm. The Prophet is saying we do have the power to benefit and harm. And that is the power that Allah has given us. And Allah has given us limited power. It's limited when we come from Allah's perspective, but when we come from our weak understanding, from our perspective, we think that the Prophet has infinite level of power, but he doesn't. He has limited power, the power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has granted him. So when you come towards the discussions and certain riwayat surrounding this, there's one narration mentioned where in Tirmidhi, mentioned in Ibn Majah, mentioned for example, Imam Shafi'i mentions this in his works. There's a beautiful narration, a narration which is sahih, mentioned in the books of our brothers. They say that one day a blind man came towards the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said to the Prophet, he said, Ya Rasulullah, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I'm blind. I want my sight to be returned to me. The Prophet says to him, he says, it's better that you remain blind. It's good for you. But if you want, I do have the power to restore your sight. He says, Ya Rasulullah, thank you for the advice, but I would really appreciate that my sight is given back to me. The Prophet says to him, recite, perform wudu, recite 2 rak'ah salah, turn to Allah and say, Ya Allah, Allahumma inni as'aluka binabiyyika nabiyya rahmah. ask for your hajat. Allah will give you what you want. The old man did what he did, and his eyes were restored to him. This is the act of tawassul. But then there's a question that is raised. Can I ask directly from the Imam of the Ahlul Bayt? I can only ask directly from the Imam of the Ahlul Bayt if I know and I believe that Allah has given them certain powers to answer my dua. And we have far too many narrations that explain that the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt have power given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, when I started researching the subject, every book that I came across, the ulama would say, the chapter which talks about the power of the ulama, the power of the Ahlul Bayt, and the narrations that explain the power of the Ahlul Bayt, they would write it one line. They would say there are far too many narrations and we cannot mention it because we don't have space in this section. When I went back to the sources of the books that we have, there were hundreds upon hundreds of narrations that talk about how the Ahlul Bayt had powers given to them by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is known as what? Wilayat Takwini, that they had the power to manipulate their environment. We have many examples and many narrations. Many narrations. You find, for example, they say Abu Basir once came to Imam Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. He said to the Imam, Ya Imam, I am blind. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, are you warithat al-anbiya? Are you the one who has inherited from the prophets of Allah? The Imam says, yes. We are the inheritors of the prophets. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, have you inherited the knowledge of the prophets? He says, yes, we have the knowledge, the same knowledge that the prophets had before us. He says, Yabna Rasulillah, can you raise the dead the way Isa was able to raise the dead? He says, yes. He says, can you restore the sight of the blind the way Isa was able to restore the sight of the blind? Hey, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, Abu Basir, come next to me. Sit next to me. Abu Basir stands up, he comes and he sits next to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. He then narrates this. He says, Imam took his hands and he wiped my eyes and my face. And the moment he removed his hands from my face, he said, I opened my eyes and I could see the sun, and I could see the skies, and I could see the stars, and I could see the buildings around me. He said, I could see all of the things that were there in the house. My eyes were given back to me. The Imam then said to me, Ya Abu Basir, would you like to remain in this state, that your eyes and your sight have been restored to you? Or would you like to go back being blind? He said, Ya Abu Basir, if you choose to stay in this state, then on the day of judgment, Allah will question you the way He questions every single human being. But if you choose to go back being blind, Allah will put you in Jannah. Abu Basir says, Yabna Rasulillah, take my sight away from me again. The Imam places his hand over his eyes and he takes his sight away. This hadith is mentioned in Basair al-Darajat, hadith sahih. No one has the authority to come and say this hadith is false and fabricated and da'if and whatnot nowadays people are coming forward with. This hadith is something that is accepted by the ulama, and there are many hadith like it, that the Ahlul Bayt used to have some sort of power that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gifted them with. Look at Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam when he lifted the gates of Khaybar. When he lifted the gates of Khaybar, they say 40 people used to lift the gates of Khaybar. But he was able to do it once. The one man, Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salam, was able to do it all alone. Not only lift the gates of Khaybar, but use it as a shield. He was able to manipulate its weight all by himself. You think this was normal? This was a mu'jiza performed by Imam alayhi salam. A power given to him by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They say when Salman al-Farsi died, Salman al-Farsi died in the lands of Madian, or Madain, sorry. He passed away in the lands of Madain. Madain was where? Kufa was where? They say the Imam alayhi salam was the governor of Kufa at the time. Hundreds of miles apart. When the news reaches him that Salman has passed away, they say the Imam exited his house, he came out of his house, and he was not known to be seen. He was not known to be seen. He somehow made his way to Madain. When he came to Madain, he took Salman al-Farsi and buried him. There were people around there in the funeral. One of them came forward and said, we saw Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam take the body of Salman and place it in the grave. He said, how did Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam get here so fast? So we've just come to find out that Salman al-Farsi has just passed away. Amir al-Mu'mineen, being the governor of Kufa, he has just found out, but all of a sudden he's come back. They say when he buried Salman al-Farsi, he turned around and he disappeared again. The same man, he says, I began my travel and I went towards the city of Kufa. When I reached the city of Kufa, I saw Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam reciting Salatul Jama'ah. I said, hold on a second, it took me days to get back to Kufa. How did Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam get here quicker than me? Find the Ahlul Bayt were given certain powers. When we read these riwayats and we come to the understanding that they had certain powers, it's not that they had powers equal to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah gave them certain powers. Sallu ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And the second, for the love of Amir al-Mu'mineen salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi. And the third, for the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asri wa Zaman. So when I come forward and I say, Ya wajihan indallah, ishfa' lana indallah, or when I say, Ya Ali, Ya Muhammadu, Ya Ali, Ya Ali, Ya Muhammad, ikfiyani fa innakuma kafiyan, it's not with the belief that this is shirk, because Allah has given them that power. The power to answer my hajats and the power to help me in my life. This was the first objection of Ibn Taymiyyah. He said you cannot ask from the Ahlul Bayt, or you cannot ask from a person because they are needy. You should ask directly from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we've looked at certain riwayats to explain that no, Allah has given them the power to accept the hajats of the people. So you find, for example, this was his first objection. His second objection was, he said you cannot ask from the dead. He says, okay, we do have riwayat where the people went towards the Holy Prophet and asked the Prophet to accept the hajats or to answer the hajats. But this was because they were alive. The Prophet was alive. Yes, the Prophet now is dead. The Imam alayhi salam is now dead. You see, Ibn Taymiyyah, he has no evidences to support his claim. He's using common sense. He's using logic. He says that once they have left this dunya, that's it. We have no communication with them, they have no communication with us. And unfortunately, it's hard for me to say this, but our own Shia brothers and sisters are using the same arguments today. They say the Ahlul Bayt have departed from this world. How can you go and ask from them? As in, is there any narrations that say that when death occurs, that's it, the ruh of that human being is cut off from dunya altogether? On the contrary, we have hundreds upon narrations that explain that there is an interaction that takes place between the arwah that have left this world and dunya. They say, no, you can't ask from the Ahlul Bayt because they have left this world. So what do you mean? They say the Ahlul Bayt, they have left this world and they have entered Alim al-Barzakh. So what, they've entered Alim al-Barzakh. So the moment they enter Alim al-Barzakh, they have no communication with Alim al-Dunya. It's common sense. You're coming from a logical perspective. I understand that. That when a ruh enters Alim al-Barzakh, because Alim al-Barzakh is a different realm altogether, different from Alim al-Dunya, therefore they cannot hear us. But what evidence is there to show that they cannot hear us? Or for example, the third argument they use, they say that no, you cannot ask from Amir al-Mu'mineen, you cannot ask from Imam al-Hussein because they are buried in Najaf and Karbala. Look how far away they are from us. How can they hear our words? Najaf is what? Thousands of miles away from us. They say, how can Imam listen to your words? It's thousands of miles away. So hold on a second, you're using common sense? When you're interacting, when you're discussing about the ruh, when you're discussing about barzakh, common sense has no place in these discussions. Logic has no place in these discussions. Because we have no information whatsoever. We derive our information from the riwayat of the Ahlul Bayt. And the riwayat of the Ahlul Bayt are clear that the dead can hear. Yes, how many ayat in the Holy Quran talk about how the prophets of Allah used to communicate with the dead? The Qawm of Shu'aib, for example, the Qawm of Lut, for example, the Qawm of Saleh, when they were destroyed, they would come and they would say, did we not warn you? The adhab of Allah has taken your lives. Did we not warn you of the adhab of Allah? Who were they talking to if these people were dead? They were talking to the nafs. They were talking to the ruh that has entered alim al-barzakh. Our own Shia brothers and sisters, they come forward and they say that no, the Ahl al-Bayt cannot hear you. Why? Because they have passed on to alim al-barzakh. It says yes, but the ayat of the Holy Quran, what does it say? It says that the shaheed is not dead, but they are alive. Yes. They say yes, they're alive, but they're alive in alim al-barzakh. So hold on a second, are we not all alive in alim al-barzakh? I don't have to be a shaheed to be alive in alim al-barzakh. Even the worst of human beings, when he leaves this world, his soul is taken to alim al-barzakh and is alive in alim al-barzakh. So why are the shuhada distinguished and the Ahl al-Bayt distinguished by making them alive in alim al-barzakh when every single human being is alive in alim al-barzakh? When you take away the fadila of the Ahl al-Bayt, I ask you need to start questioning yourself and your religion. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that guidance is given to us. Ibn Taymiyyah came forward and he said that the dead cannot hear. On the contrary, we have narrations that the dead can hear. Our scholars came forward and explained two beautiful concepts. They said, first and foremost, when I perform an action, what is the source of that action? Is it my body or is it my nafs? He said it's not the body, but it's the nafs. It's my nafs is the one who performs the action. When I see things, my nafs is seeing. When I hear, my nafs is hearing. When I move my hand this way, that way, my nafs is moving my hands. But my nafs sees through my eyes. My eyes is an instrument, it's a medium, it's a wasila. My tongue is a wasila. My nafs speaks using my tongue. My nafs moves using my hands. I am able to travel. My nafs is able to travel using the legs. These limbs are just what? A wasila. They're just instruments. So you find they came forward and they said that the nafs is the one who performs the action. When I gain knowledge, where is that knowledge stored? Is it stored in my mind? My mind, my brain is just a wasila for me to take knowledge, extrapolate its meaning and to store it where? In my nafs. Have we not heard about the riwayat when we are buried in the grave, when Munkar and Nakir come towards us and they ask who is your Lord and who is your Nabi and who is your Imam? Who will give the answer? My mind or my nafs? Every information that we gain in this world, it is stored within the nafs. The nafs is what? Markaz al-ilm. Yes, that's where all the knowledge is stored. Likewise, when you come towards the concept of death, the nafs is removed and separated from the body. The body becomes dust again. The nafs is what? Taken to alim al-barzakh. When we speak with one another, I am not speaking with your body, I'm speaking with your nafs. When I say, Ya Aba Abdullah, iqdi hajati, I am not speaking to his body, I'm speaking to his nafs. His nafs is in alim al-barzakh. Then comes the concept, can he hear me or no? Our physical bodies, we have limitations. One of these limitations is what? Zaman and Makan. You can hear me because we're in the same room. You go to the different room, for example, or you go down the street, down the road, you won't be able to hear me. Because why? These are limitations of your physical body. When you go to the different room, you cannot see me because these are the physical limitations of your body and our bodies. But when the body is separated from the ruh, yes, the ruh no longer is limited by the body. It's no longer limited by the physical aspects of the body. The ruh speaks. That speech is heightened. The ruh sees. That sight is heightened. The ruh listens. That listening of the ruh can hear. The ruh can hear. Their hearing, their power of hearing is heightened. That's why in the narration, in Sahih al-Bukhari, this narration can be found that after the battle of Badr, when the mushrikeen, many of them were killed, Rasulullah after the battle of Badr would walk into the battlefield and say, did I not warn you? You fought me for years. And now you lay there dead on the ground, did I not warn you of the true reality? Do you not now see the real reality of things? They came towards the Holy Prophet, they said, Ya Rasulullah, who do you talk to? He says, I'm talking with the Amwat. He said, can they hear you? He says, they can hear me better than you can hear me. Because I am talking to their nafs. The Prophet was now talking to their nafs. The nafs is no longer limited by the bodies and the function and the limitations by the body. Therefore, when I talk to the Imam alayhi salam, whether he be in Karbala, whether he be in Mashhad or Qadimiyya, most definitely they can hear me. Yes? That's why this is on the first level. On the second level, they came forward, the ulama asked a simple question. They said, the Ahl al-Bayt, are they different when they were alive? Were they different? The Ahl al-Bayt, sallu ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. They said, is there a difference if the Imam is alive or dead? When the Imam is alive, is that different from him being dead? If the answer is yes, they said, then why do we have narrations in such a way? We have narrations that when we interact with the Imams, we interact with the Imams as if they are alive in front of us. When we go for ziyarah, what do we say? Allahumma inni, he says, وَيَسْمَعُونَ كَلَامِي وَيَرُدُّونَ السَّلَامِ. Yes, this is part of Ibn Dukhul. That we say, we seek permission from you, Ya Imam, to enter this Rawdat al-Sharifa, for example, this holy place. And then we say, يَسْمَعُونَ الْكَلَامِ وَيَرُدُّونَ السَّلَامِ. You can hear, they can hear our words, and they reply our salams. In Salah, for example, when we sit towards Taslim, what do we say? We say, Assalamu alayka ya ayyuhan nabi wa rahmatullah. We all send, billions of Muslims throughout the world, we send our salams to the Holy Prophet. As in, when we say, why do we send salams to the Holy Prophet if he can't hear us? You find, for example, when we go for ziyarah, Assalamu alayka ya Adam sifwatillah, Assalamu alayka ya Nuh al-Nabiyallah. Yes, we are directly speaking with the Imam alayhi salam. You ask the question, why are we talking directly with the Imam if the Imam cannot listen to us? You find, for example, in one narration, Imam Sadiq salawatullahi wa salamuhu alayhi, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad, explains beautifully. He says that one day he approaches one of his companions and he explains. He says, أَلَا تَعْلَمُونَ أَنَّ أَعْمَالُكُمْ تُؤْرَضُ عَلَيْهِ. He says, do you not know that your a'mal are presented towards the Holy Prophet? This is who narrating? The sixth Holy Imam. The Prophet has passed away decades before. He says, know that your a'mal are being presented towards the Prophet of Allah. And they are being presented towards the Prophet as if he is alive. Yes, that when we, to the extent that the narration says that when we perform evil in our lives, when we perform sins, the Prophet is grieved and sorrowful. But the Imam says that your actions are presented to the Holy Prophet. So you find that from these both perspectives, that the Imams most definitely, we speak with the nafs of the Imam and they can hear us, number one. And number two, that there is no difference between them being alive or dead. It gives us confidence that when we seek our hajats from them, most definitely Allah has given them the power to answer our hajats. Most definitely Allah has given them the power and the authority to answer our hajats. And when we come towards Abu Fadl al-Abbas, many stories are there which explain to us the power that Allah gave Abu Fadl al-Abbas, especially when he was considered to be what? Bab al-Hawaj. There's a beautiful story, contemporary story. They say there was a youth. There was a Husayniyah in Isfahan, and there was a youth who used to look after the Husayniyah, used to look after the center, just like this. And so during the nights of Muharram, he would put the black curtains around, and he would put, for example, banners on the wall. He would put, for example, he would prepare the food, he would prepare the majlis, and so on and so forth. To the extent that one day he was standing on a ladder. When he stood on a ladder, he fell. When he fell, he broke his back. You know who narrates this story? One of the greatest khutbah today narrates this story. He says, I came to know about this story when I physically went to that Husayniyah and I delivered majalis during the nights of Muharram. He said that this youth fell from the ladder, he broke his back. He was paralyzed. He lost his ability to walk. He said he was taken to the hospital. They took x-rays of him. And they showed clearly that his spine had broken. Yes, he broke his back. He was no longer able to walk. See, he was confined to a wheelchair. Wherever he would go using his wheelchair. See, it was the month of Muharram. He said, I came to the center, I would recite majalis every day. He said it was the night of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. I sat on the minbar, I delivered my majlis. He says, I finished my majlis, I began reciting the Musibah of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. After that, I began to recite lines of poetry dedicated to Abu Fadl al-Abbas. After that, the lights were turned off. When the lights turned off, people stood up to perform ma'tam, and people began to perform latam of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. He said when the lights were off, all of a sudden this person got up from the wheelchair, he walked towards the minbar. Without anyone helping him, without anyone aiding him, without anyone assisting him, he got up and he came towards the minbar. He said when the lights turned on, the people were shocked to the core. They rushed him to the hospital and they took x-rays again and they showed that his spine had been cured completely. He was fixed as if nothing had happened. They say, this Maulana who narrates the story, he says they still have the pictures of the x-ray displayed on the walls of the mosque in Isfahan, in this Husseiniya in Isfahan. Abu Fadl al-Abbas is Bab al-Hawa'ij, a person we should ask our hajats from him because Allah has given him such powers. That Allah has given him such powers, and of course this is not shirk. Allah has given him the power that Abu Fadl al-Abbas has. There's one other story, a fabulous story. They say there was a man by the name of Sayyid Thabit al-Thabit. He said he narrates the story to his friends. He says one day I was sitting in the sahan of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. When he was sitting in the sahan of Abu Fadl al-Abbas, he says all of a sudden I saw, it was the middle of the night, the last part of the night where it's recommended to recite Salat al-Layl. He said I came to the Haram to recite Salat al-Layl and to recite Salat al-Jama'ah and to perform ziyarah. He said I came and I sat on the sahan. When I sat on the sahan, I saw a man. He was there with his wife. And he was interacting with his wife in a very weird way, in a way that did not behoove him to behave because he was in a holy place. He was behaving with his wife in a very unsuitable way. So I gave him a very bad look. I said to him, stop. The way you are interacting with your wife is not nice. It does not behoove you to behave the way you are behaving in this holy place. The Sayyid narrates, he says, this man, he was a Bedouin, he came running to me and he was embarrassed. He said, Ya Sayyid, let me explain the situation. He says, look, this woman, she's my wife and we've been married together for many years, but Allah has not granted us a child. He said, I said to myself, I will bring myself towards the Haram of Abu Fadl al-Abbas and I will perform his tawassul and I will seek his intercession that he delivers us or he gives us a child. He said, I made another. So the Sayyid says to him, he says, what's your nadhar? He says, my nadhar is that if Abu Fadl al-Abbas grants me a child, then I will bring this child for ziyarah. And then he says, Sayyid, stop. I will give you a gift. This is my second part of the nadhar, that I will give you a sheep in return. He says, Sayyid, what's your name? The Sayyid replies, he says, my name is Thabit al-Thabit. He says, Sayyid Thabit, I will bring you a sheep if Allah Abu Fadl al-Abbas answers my dua. Sayyid Thabit doesn't think much of it. They both part ways. Sayyid Thabit then narrates, he says, a year later, or just above a year later, I was there in the sahan of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. One of my friends came to me. He said, Sayyid Thabit, there is a person here to see you. He says, who is this person that wants to see me? He says, I don't know who he is. He seems like a Bedouin, but there is a woman and a child with him. He wants to see you. Sayyid Thabit got up, he went towards this Bedouin Arab. He meets this Arab, he says, you've called for me, how can I help you? The Arab says to him, Sayyid Thabit, do you not remember me? Sayyid Thabit says, unfortunately, sorry, I don't. My memory is not the best of memories, I've forgotten. Have we met? He says, Sayyid Thabit, I am the same person that we met last year, and I said to you that I have made another, that if Abu Fadl al-Abbas was to answer my dua, I would give you a sheep in return. He says, Sayyid Thabit, this is the sheep for you. Take this sheep, because now I am performing my nadhar. And my part and my nadhar was that if he was to give me a child, he says, Sayyid Thabit, look it. He says, look, this is my child. After many years, Abu Fadl al-Abbas answered our hajats. And when you come towards the story of Karbala, before Karbala, they say one day Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam was sitting in the masjid of Kufa when Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein were playing around him. When Imam al-Hasan and Imam al-Hussein were playing around Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam, they say Abu Abdullah alayhi salam approached his father and he said, my father, ya Abata, I am thirsty. They say when he said, I am thirsty, Abu Fadl al-Abbas heard these words of Imam Hussein alayhi salam. What does he do? He gets up, he runs straight home. He goes to his house, he approaches his mother al-Baneen. He says, oh my mother, I heard that Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, I heard Abu Abdullah is thirsty. I want to quench his thirst. Oh my mother, give me some water. They say al-Baneen gave Abbas a pot of water and made him carry it on his head. They say Abbas rushed towards Masjid al-Kufa. When he enters the presence of Imam alayhi salam, he runs towards Imam al-Hussein. He says, my dear brother Maulana, here's water for you, drink from this water. When Imam Ali sees this, he says, oh Abbas, you will be the one who carries the water on the day of the 10th. They say that when Abu Fadl al-Abbas was standing there on the plains of Karbala, he saw Imam al-Hussein alone. He saw his brothers, his three brothers, Ja'far, Uthman and Abdullah. They all gave their lives for Imam. He saw that Ali Akbar had given his life. He saw and Muhammad had given their lives and Qasim had given their lives. He then approaches Imam al-Hussein. He says, Maulana, he says, Ya Abu Abdullah, my chest is squeezed. Give me the permission to fight. Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, what does he say? He says, oh Abbas, I will not let you fight, but I have a task for you. He says, Abbas, the children are crying, Al-Atash, Al-Atash, go and give them water, get water from them. They say Abu Fadl al-Abbas prepares to go towards the Furat. But before he goes towards the Furat, he comes towards Zainab and he bids farewell to Zainab. Zainab then says, oh my brother Abbas, let me narrate to you an incident that took place between me and our father Amir al-Mu'mineen. He says, one day when I was walking in the streets of Kufa, Amir al-Mu'mineen, our father, pointed towards a road and said, oh Zainab, a time will come when you will be in chains. A time will come when you will be shackled in chains and dragged along the streets of Kufa. That's the street that you will be seen as a prisoner of war. Zainab replies, she says, Ya Abata, how will they put me in chains when Abbas will be there with me? How will I be in chains when Abbas will be there with me? He says, oh Abbas, now I understand the words of my father. Now I understand how you will not accompany me in the streets of Kufa. They say Abu Fadl al-Abbas goes towards the river. He enters the river. He feels the mushk. He feels the water skin and he heads back towards the camp. When he heads back towards the camp, they say a man approaches Abbas. He hides behind a palm tree. When Abbas passes the tree, he comes from behind Abbas and strikes him on the right hand and severs his right hand. Abbas takes the water skin on his left hand and he proceeds towards the camp of Abu Abdullah. When another man comes from behind the trees and strikes him on his left hand, Abbas then takes the water skin on his teeth and carries it towards the camps of Abu Abdullah. They say it was in this moment when the showers of arrows fell upon Abbas. One arrow pierced his eye, the other arrows pierced his back and his chest. But one arrow, the most painful of these arrows, struck the water skin, and Abbas saw the water flow out from the skin. They say it was in this moment that a man came before him and struck him on the head with an iron pillar. They say Abbas collapses and he calls out, Assalamu alayka ya Abu Abdullah. They say Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam rushes to Abbas. When he reaches Abbas, Abbas's eyes are filled with blood. He cannot see. He sees someone approaching him. He says, oh man, have mercy with me. My brother is coming for my aid. Have mercy and do not kill me. They say Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam responds and say, oh Abbas, it's me, your brother al-Hussein. Imam al-Hussein sits alongside Abbas, carries his head on his lap, and he begins to stroke him. He begins to pat his head. They say Abbas removes his head from the laps of Imam al-Hussein. Abu Abdullah says, Ya Abbas, why do you remove your head from my lap? Abbas responds, Mawlana, who will look after your head? Right now you place my head on your laps, but who will be the one who places your head in their laps? Then Abbas leaves this world. They say when the Ahl al-Bayt returned to the city of Kufa, the city of Medina, Imam al-Sajjad alayhi salam, he approaches Bishr. He says, oh Bishr, go into the streets of Medina and recite the lines of poetry. Bishr begins to recite the Masaib of the Ahl al-Bayt. When he begins to recite the Masaib of the Ahl al-Bayt, they say an old woman came towards Bishr. In her hands was an infant. Then she says to Bishr, Bishr, you narrate what happened to the Ahl al-Bayt. Tell me what happened to my son al-Hussein. Bishr then turns to his people and says, who is this woman asking me this question? They say, oh Bishr, do you not recognize al-Banin? This is the woman, this is the mother of Abbas and her 3 children who died on the plains of Karbala. Bishr then says, Ya al-Banin, Adam Allah laki al-ajr. آدم الله لك العجب بولدك العثمان. Says, may Allah reward you for your son Uthman. al-Banin responds, she says, do not ask me for my son Uthman, tell me what happened to my son Hussein. She says, Ya al-Banin, أعظم الله لك الأجر بولدك الجعفر. She says, do not tell me about my son Ja'far, tell me what happened to my son Hussein. She says, Bishr replies, he says, أعظم الله لك الأجر بولدك Abdullah. She says, do not tell me about my son Abdullah, tell me about my son Hussein. Then Bishr says, أعظم الله لك الأجر بولدك Abbas. They say that when she heard these words were heavy on the heart of al-Banin. She drops the infant. The infant collapses from her arms. She says, if Abbas is no longer with us, it means that Hussein is no longer with us. There is one narration, and I end with this narration. They say there was a grand scholar by the name of Sayyid Mahdi Bahr al-Ulum. Sayyid Mahdi Bahr al-Ulum, they say he was a grand marja. Yes, an a'lam of his time. He was so revered and respected by the people of his community that they used to give him certain merits. They say that when he went towards the city of Karbala, he enters the haram of Imam Abu Fadl al-Abbas. They opened the doors of the Sardab. They opened the doors of the basement for him, and he is able to go down towards the basement to witness the actual tomb of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. They say alongside him were his friends and his families, and alongside him were his students. They went towards the basement and they began performing the ziyarah of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. When they entered the room of the tomb, they began talking with one another. They said, this can't be the grave of Abu Fadl al-Abbas. They said, why? He said, because the grave of Abu Fadl al-Abbas, this is a small grave. Abu Fadl al-Abbas, they say in the narrations, he was a tall man. When he would mount his horse, his legs would drag on the floor. They say he was a tall man, a strong man, but the grave is a small grave. They said, Ya Mahdi Bahr al-Ulum, Ya Sayyid, why is the grave of Abbas a small grave? He replies, he says, imagine how many pieces they cut Abbas into, that they were able to fit him in a small grave. ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إنا لله وإنا إليه راجعون. سيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. أما يجيب المضطر إذا دعاه ويكشف السوء. Ya Hussein.
Ya Abbas. 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 Ya Abbas.
خیمے میں گل ہے بپا لو علم آتا ہے رن سے علم دار کا لو علم آتا ہے مشک سکینہ کی بھی دیکھو وہ ہے باندھ رہی خون میں ڈوبا ہوا لو علم آتا ہے پیٹتے ہیں سر امام رو رو کے ہر ایک گام غازی تصدق ہوا لو علم آتا ہے بھائی کے اب سد میں سے شاہ نہیں جینے کے موت کا سامنا ہے لو علم آتا ہے ہو چکے بے کس ایمان جنگ ہوئے اختتام بھائی بھی کام آ چکا لو علم آتا ہے इससे थी दारसबंदी मर गया वो बेचारी जाए तामुल है क्या लो अलम आता है खैमे में गुल है बपा लो अलम आता है रंग से अलमदार का लो अलम आता है मातम हुसैन
Ya Hussein, 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 Ya Hussein.
Hussein ya Mawla ya Mawla ya Mawla 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 Thirsty Ruqayya, thirsty Abdullah, we just need water, Father some water. Where's your flag bearer, son of Fatima, Hussein ya Mawla ya Mawla ya Mawla 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 Hussein's all alone, Shah Qasim has gone, Ali Akbar's gone, Abu Fadil's gone, even Abdullah Hussein wa wayla, even Abdullah Hussein ya wayla, Hussein ya Mawla ya Mawla ya Mawla 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 Zainab cries Allah, where's Abu Abdullah, where's Ali Akbar, where is Abdullah, where's my Alamdar, where's my flag bearer, where's my protector, where is my Abbas Hussein ya Mawla ya Mawla ya Mawla 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 Now the tent's on fire, shackled Ruqayya Zainab, have you seen Zain al-Abidin, ill and locked in chains? Zahra cries in pain, my Hussein is slain. Where is my Hussein? Hussein ya Mawla ya Mawla ya Mawla 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 Your head on a spear, my eyes filled with tears, your body trampled, why were they so cruel? And it still hurts me that you died thirsty, and it still hurts me that you died thirsty. Hussein ya Mawla ya Mawla ya Mawla 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 Zahra cries Hussein, Zainab cries Hussein, my tears cry Hussein, my heart cries Hussein, Hussein cries out last, where is my Abbas? Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer 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 Children cry in thirst, where is my Abbas? Abbas cries in pain, children I've been slain, I can't bring water For you, Ruqayya, I can't bring water. For you, Ruqayya, Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. 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 Cries of Allah Tash, but I am Abbas. I will bring water for Hussein's daughter, but they've ambushed me. Master, forgive me. But they've ambushed me. Master, forgive me. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. 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 He won't quench his thirst, for Hussein comes first. With his arms cut off, still won't taste the drop. Blinded by arrow, I cry in sorrow. Blinded by arrow, I cry in sorrow. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. 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 Women and children were slapped and beaten. Children cry in fear. Zainab full of tears. Oh my brother dear, I wish you were here. Oh my brother dear, I wish you were here. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. 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 Saviors of Islam, I send my salam upon you, Master. When I drink water, all my life for you. In my life, all my love for you. I will beat my chest, I will never rest. I will give my life, I will sacrifice. In my life always, your flag is raised high. In my life always, your flag is raised high. Hussein, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. Hussein, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla, Ya Mawla. Abbas flag bearer, flag bearer, flag bearer. Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein, Ya Hussein. Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas. قلب की قوत या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास. आंखों की हसरत या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास. होंठों की जीनत या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास. हाथों की ताकत या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास. हाँ ये नमाज सब्र वफा है, हाँ ये नमाज सब्र वफा है. इसका मुसल्ला फर्श अज़ा है, इसका मुसल्ला फर्श अज़ा है. इसकी अज़ा मातम की सदा है, इसकी अज़ा मातम की सदा है. शाम व सहर हर वक्त हमारी है ये इबादत या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास. जिक्र तेरा सख्खा सकीना, जिक्र तेरा सख्खा सकीना. देता है जीने का करीना, देता है जीने का करीना. हर तूफान का तू ही सफीना, हर तूफान का तू ही सफीना. हमने पुकारा जब भी पड़ी है हम पर मुसीबत या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास, या अब्बास. तूने सारा दीन को दिया है, तूने सारा दीन को दिया है. इसके अलम पर नाम तेरा है, इसके अलम पर नाम तेरा है. पर پرچم میں خوشبو وفا ہے، پرچم میں خوشبو وفا ہے، اب یہ علم اونچا ہی رہے گا تیری بدولت یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس. آنکھ میں تیر اور قلب شکستہ، آنکھ میں تیر اور قلب شکستہ، کٹ گئے شان زخمی سرتا، کٹ گئے شان زخمی سرتا، سارا بدن تھا خون میں ڈوبا، سارا بدن تھا خون میں ڈوبا، شام کمر ہر تان کمر شبیر نے دیکھی یہ تیری غربت یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس. شمر کے پہ ہم کھائے تماچے، شمر کے پہ ہم کھائے تماچے، کان ہے زخمی کال ہے سوچے، کان ہے زخمی کال ہے سوچے. ہائے سکینہ کس کو پکارے، ہائے سکینہ کس کو پکارے، دیکھتے آخر تم بھی سکینہ یہ غربت یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس. تجھ پہ مشکل سب سے بڑی تھی، تجھ پہ مشکل سب سے بڑی تھی، ہاتھ نہ تھے مجبور تغازی، ہاتھ نہ تھے مجبور تغازی. کیسے گرا گھوڑے سے سپاہی، کیسے گرا گھوڑے سے سپاہی، ماں ہی بتا سکتی ہے ایک بیٹے کی مصیبت یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس. مقتل میں لاشیں بکھ رہے ہیں، مقتل میں لاشیں بکھ رہے ہیں، تاریکی ہے سناٹے ہیں، تاریکی ہے سناٹے ہیں. بچے سہمے دیکھ رہے ہیں، بچے سہمے دیکھ رہے ہیں، تنہا زینب کیسے کرے اب ان کی حفاظت یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس. شولوں میں سجاد کا بستر، شولوں میں سجاد کا بستر، چلتا ہے گہوارہ اصغر، چلتا ہے گہوارہ اصغر. بنت علی کی چنتی ہے چادر، بنت علی کی چنتی ہے چادر، اہل حرم پر ٹوٹی دیکھو کیسی قیامت یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس یا عباس. یا
حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین یا حسین
یا سکینہ یا عباس
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 یا سکینہ یا عباس یا سکینہ یا عباس یا عباس یا سکینہ یا عباس.
نیزے سے اصغر کو نظر آئی جمادر، دیکھا کھلا سر ہے پریشان ہے مضطر، رونے لگے دیکھا کھلا سر ہے پریشان ہے مضطر، رونے لگے کہنے لگے تب علی اصغر، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنے گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں اما بہت دن ہوئے جھولے میں نہ سویا، ماں تیری عزت کی قسم پھر بھی نہ رویا، اب تجھے دیکھا تو میرے لب ہوئے گویا، آج بندے ہاتھوں کو جھولا بنا لے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنی گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، جسم کہاں سے ہے کہاں ہائے مقدر، اما بدن رہ گیا کربل کی زمین پر، اما تیرے ساتھ چلا ہے میرا سر، کرتا تجھے کیسے لئیموں کے حوالے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنے گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، گرم ہوا گرم زمین جلتا ہوا تیر، اما ذرا سوچ میرے قد سے بڑا تیر، کیسے کہوں حلق پہ جس وقت لگا تیر، ہو گئے بے ہوش مجھے دیکھنے والے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنی گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، کب سے سکینہ نے نہیں مجھ کو کیا پیار، کرب بلا کوفہ کہاں شام کا بازار، ڈرتی ہے کیا خور سے بڑے دیکھ کے رخسار، نیزے کے نزدیک ذرا اس کو بلا لے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنی گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، دھوپ میں تو نے کبھی نہ گھر سے نکالا، اما بڑے پیار سے تو نے مجھے پالا، آج نہیں کوئی مجھے دیکھنے والا، تو ہی مجھے دھوپ کی شدت سے بچا لے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنی گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، دیکھ تیرا لخت جگر یوں تو ہے اصغر، نیزہ سواری میں ہے اکبر کے برابر، نو کے سنا پر ہے ستارہ سا میرا گھر، میری شجاعت پہ گلے مجھ کو لگا لے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنے گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، بابا کا سر بھائی کا سر نو کے سنا پر، آپ کا سر پہ نہیں اماں کوئی چادر، کیسے میں برداشت کروں اماں یہ منظر، جلتی ہوئی خاک نہ چھپا لے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، اماں بہت دن ہوئے جھولے میں نہ سویا، ماں تیری عزت کی قسم پھر بھی نہ رویا، اب تجھے دیکھا تو میرے لب ہوئے گویا، آج بندے ہاتھوں کو جھولا سا بنا لے، سینے سے لگا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں، ماں مجھے اپنے سینے سے لگا لے، ماں مجھے اپنی گودی میں چھپا لے، ماں میں نیزے پہ ہوں،
یا حسین 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 محمد وآل محمد صلوات.
متوجہ زیارت العاشورہ.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله، السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله، السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين وابن سيد الوسيم، السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء سيدة نساء العالمين، السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثار والوتر الموتور. السلام عليك وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني جميعا سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار. يا أبا عبد الله لقد عظمت الرزية وجلت وعظمت المصيبة بك علينا وعلى جميع أهل الإسلام، وجلت وعظمت مصيبتك في السماوات على جميع أهل السماوات. فلعن اللهم تنسست أساس الظلم والجور عليكم أهل البيت، ولعن اللهم دفعتكم عن مقامكم وأزالتكم عن مراتبكم التي رتبكم الله فيها، ولعن الله أمة قتلتكم، ولعن الله الممهدين لهم بالتمكين من قتالكم. برئتنا الله وإليكم منه ومن أشياعهم وأتباعهم وأوليائهم. يا أبا عبد الله إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم إلى يوم القيامة. ولعن الله آل زياد وآل مروان، ولعن الله بني أمية قاتبا، ولعن الله ابن مرجان، ولعن الله عمر بن سعد، ولعن الله شمرا، ولعن الله أمة أسرجت والجمت وتنقبت لقتالك. بأبي أنت وأمي لقد عظم مسابي بك، فأسأل الله الذي أكرم مقامك وأكرمني بك أن يرزقني طلب ثارك مع إمام منصور من أهل بيت محمد صلى الله عليه وآله. اللهم اجعلني عندك وجيها بالحسين عليه السلام في الدنيا والآخرة. يا أبا عبد الله إني أتقرب إلى الله وإلى رسوله وإلى أمير المؤمنين وإلى فاطمة والحسن وإليك بموالاتك وبالبراءة ممن قاتلك والجور عليك، وأبرأ إلى الله وإلى رسوله ممن أسس أساس ذلك وبنى عليه بنيانا وجرى في ظلمه وجوري عليكم وعلى أشيائكم. برئتنا الله وإليكم منه وتقربوا إلى الله ثم إليكم بموالاتكم وموالاة وليكم وبالبراءة من أعدائكم والناسبين لكم الحرب وبالبراءة من أشياعهم وأتباعهم. إني سلم لمن سالمكم وحرب لمن حاربكم وولي لمن والاكم وعدو لمن عاداكم. فأسأل الله الذي أكرمني بمعرفتكم ومعرفة أوليائكم ورزقني البراءة من أعدائكم أن يجعلني معكم في الدنيا والآخرة ويثبتني عندكم صدقا في الدنيا والآخرة. وأسأله أن يبلغني المقام المحمود لكم عند الله وأن يرزقني طلب ثاركم مع إمام هدى ظاهر ناطق بالحق منكم. وأسأل الله بحقكم وبالشأن الذي لكم عنده أن يؤتيني بمصاب بكم أبدل ما يؤتي مصابا بمصيبته مصيبة أعظمها وأعظم رزيتها في الإسلام وفي جميع السماوات والأرض. اللهم اجعلني في مقام هذا ممن تنال منك صلوات ورحمة ومغفرة. اللهم اجعل محيا محيا محمد وآل محمد ومماتي ممات محمد وآل محمد. اللهم إن هذا يوم تبركت به بنو أمية وأبناء كلة الأكباد اللعين ابن اللعين على لسانك ولسان نبيك في كل موطن وموقف وقف فيه نبيك. اللهم لعن أبا سفيان ومعاوية ويزيد بن معاوية عليهم منك اللعنة أبد الآبدين. وهذا يوم فرحت به آل زياد وآل مروان بقتلهم الحسين صلوات الله عليه. اللهم فضاعف عليهم اللعن منك والعذاب الأليم. اللهم إني أتقرب إليك في هذا اليوم وفي موقفي هذا وأيام حياتي بالبرأة منهم واللعنة عليهم وبالموالاة لنبيك وآل نبيك عليه وعليهم السلام. اللهم لعن أفضل ظالم ظلم حق محمد وآل محمد وآخر تابع له على ذلك. اللهم لعن العصابة التي جاهدت الحسين والشايعات وبايعات وتابعت على قتله. اللهم لعنهم جميعا. السلام عليك يا أبا عبد الله وعلى الأرواح التي حلت بفنائك. عليكم مني سلام الله أبدا ما بقيت وبقي الليل والنهار ولا جعله الله آخر العهد مني لزيارتكم. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين. اللهم خص أنت أفضل ظالم باللعن مني وأبدأ به أفضل ثم لعن الثاني والثالث والرابع. اللهم لعن يزيد خامسا ولعن عبيد الله وابن زياد وابن مرجانا وعمر بن سعد وشمر وآل أبي سفيان وآل زياد وآل مروان إلى يوم القيامة. اللهم لك الحمد حمد الشاكرين لك على مصابهم. الحمد لله على عزيم رزيتي. اللهم ارزقني شفاعة الحسين يوم الورود وثبت لي قدم صدق عندك مع الحسين وأصحاب الحسين الذين بذلوا مهجهم دون الحسين عليه السلام. اللهم صل على محمد. اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك توعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم صل على محمد.
Brothers and sisters, inshallah, if you can recite al-Fatiha for all the Muharrameen, especially for those who are sponsored tonight, the Tabarruk, and in the previous nights, inshallah, al-Fatiha. Bismillah ar-Rahman.
Yeah.